At United Nations General Assembly, Burkina Faso warns against Libya scenario in Niger, slams international hypocrisy. Not be smart, So the representative of Burkina Faso at the United Nations 78th session of the General Assembly in New York has warned world leaders to ensure that they don't repeat Libya scenario in Niger. We understand what happened in Libya about the death of Muammar Gaddafi and how foreign powers supported his elimination or something like that. So now they are warning to make sure that that does not repeat again in Niger, because that situation has actually thrown that country, Libya, into a very serious situation that they are still struggling to recover from up till now. But let's see what Burkina Faso rep is saying here. In a speech lasting almost 40 minutes, delivered in a vehement tone, Burkina Faso's Minister of State addressed the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Unga, on Saturday, September 23. And when Minister of State Basoma Baze told the floor before the greenstone in the General Assembly, he honored the women and men who enabled the world to dream and hope for a just and fair world. Okay. However, he rapidly underlined that the world for which the said figures had dreamed, in fact, never dawned. Wow. So every year, countless speeches with promises and pledges are given. He said, adding, this was evidenced by the discrepancy between speeches and facts on matter of principles contained in the United Nations Charter, including justice, equality, dignity, integrity, the right to self-determination, the sovereignty of states, the inviolability of territory, and respect for international law is what can be observed in Libya, in the Sahel, more precisely Niger, and in the Russia-Ukraine crisis. He was warned that Niger could become a second Libya, strongly condemning the military intervention that preceded the death of late Libyan President Muammar Gaddafi. Intellectual honesty and history, he stressed, shows us that we owe the Libyan people sincere apologies. The regional body ECOWAS has threatened Niger with a military intervention to reinstate Mohamed Bazoum following the July 26 coup in which he was deposed. Neighboring Burkina Faso has repeatedly opposed the move, just like Mali has. On Saturday, September 23, Malian Foreign Affairs Minister maintained, we will not sit on our hands in the event of military intervention in Niger, Abdoulaye Diop said in his address to the same United Nations General Assembly. State Minister Basoma Baze also denounced in his lengthy address Africa's lack of a permanent membership or veto rights in the Security Council. He called it as a state crime and a crime of the UN. Inequality throughout the world is deliberate. He insisted, listing what he sees as the true wounds that poison coexistence, namely the lies of states, diplomatic hypocrisy, thirst for power, the frenetic quest for profit, the diabolical spirit of domination and exploitation of man by man. According to 2023 Global Terrorism Index, the Sahel region is the epicenter of terrorism, accounting for more deaths from terrorism in 2022 than South Asia and the Middle East and North Africa MENA combined. Can you imagine? So now Sahel region of Africa, now they have tagged it. Can you compare the kind of terrorism taking place there to the ones happening in the Middle East? It can't compare. So, but the message here is that the man has warned the world leaders to, leave Africa alone, and also to let them know that the world is watching. Okay, that the world leaders have played hypocrisy over the years. Now that they are trying to liken what happened in Niger to what actually happened in Libya. And this man is saying, the foreign affairs minister of Niger Republic at the United Nations General Assembly, is trying to tell the world leader that nobody will allow what happened in Libya to repeat in Niger, because the Libyan president actually was deleted after the military took over, okay, or something like that. And there was a kind of turmoil in Libya. Everybody witnessed what happened in Libya. But what this man is trying to say here, if I can read in between lines, is almost putting the blame on the world leaders, whatever that is happening in the Sahel part of Africa or in the rest of the world. The man exploitation of man is a big problem. Inequality is a big problem, and the domination of man by man is a deliberate attempt. Okay, and what the Western world is trying to do is just to dominate Africa completely and not let them breathe. Okay, and then they will sell the democracy, sell so many systems of government and policies to them that doesn't work, and then continue to dominate them. Okay, and even African leaders have been making promises that never worked. The world leaders at all the world assemblies and summits have been making promises that never worked. But in the real sense of it, they are also making those promises and making those policies to dominate Africa. So this man, the foreign affairs minister of Niger Republic, has actually slammed the world leaders, okay, at the United Nations General Assembly, and told them your hypocrisy is enough of a hypocrisy. In all your promises, in all you say, but not what you do. Okay? Now, everything about self-determination, they say the international law allows for self-determination, allows for sovereignty, allows for all of the things. But when they take the action for self-determination and to maintain sovereignty, you come against them and say it is against democracy. It doesn't work that way. Allow the people to manage themselves, let them take care of themselves. We know that this is coming after the military junta in Niger took over power, and then the ECOWAS leadership threatened military invasion of Niger, and that has led to Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso coming together, and Guinea to sign a pact of military support. Okay, so at any attempt to attack Niger is an attempt to attack all of them, and they will reply or respond because they will call it act of war, and they will respond accordingly. Okay, and in line with that too, they are also threatening that if ECOWAS should deploy soldiers into Niger for military invasion, that the president that they have deposed, they will just delete him straight up. That is exactly what I'm saying. So, and now they have warned. Right now, ECOWAS is at a dilemma. They don't know what to say. They're just like toothless bulldog now, because the guys are determined. Like France is not tired of, trying to force the hand of the military junta in Niger. And so what they're trying to do now is to pull out their forces and also remove their, what do they call him? The ambassador there. So the foreign affairs minister for Burkina Faso is also talking in strong terms here, telling them enough of all of these, allow the people to take care of themselves. And the people are ready to take care of themselves. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment. This is what is happening over there between the countries that have military juntas running them now. And that is what they have put forward to the world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly, for them to know that it's not business as usual with them. They are ready to take the bull by the horn. They are ready to determine their destiny, and they are on the path of sovereignty and self-determination, which is part of the United Nations law. A serious one. So that is very good, and I'm sure with all of that read, even though the world leaders, especially the Western world leaders, will not be happy with that, but they don't have to disobey that international law. They will leave them alone.